So maybe that loss at Illinois wasn't that bad after all. Did anybody catch any of the games this weekend? Things happen. That's why they play the games.
You are Locked On USC, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Hulkin, and thanks for making Locked On USC part of the Locked On Network your first listen every single day. Whether you're watching the show on YouTube, wherever you want to download this podcast, you pick the platform. I promise you this show is going to be free, and I guarantee you this show is always going to appreciate your support. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers, if you can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets to use across the entire FanDuel app. Download the app today. But there's really only one other coach besides Lincoln Riley who deserves criticism for being unable to win a big game, and that is James Franklin. Without a doubt, Penn State's head coach, he has had a rough time in big game situations, and he deserves all the criticism he's getting after this weekend where he saw his Nittany Lion team lose to UCLA. I mean, on Saturday, UCLA, they did what no one anticipated. They beat the 7th-ranked Nittany Lions, who, by the way, they're no longer ranked anymore. That's their second loss of the season. The week before, they had that big game, in Happy Valley, whiteout, 110,000 fans. They got upset by Oregon. That loss is okay. That's an acceptable loss. There's no shame in losing that game. But losing on the road to the worst team playing in the Power Four conferences, that was a 25-point underdog, that's unacceptable. So, the Bruins haven't held a lead in any game this season up until they found themselves up 27-7 at halftime. They eventually won 42-37. So suddenly, all of a sudden, that USC loss last week to Illinois on the road, 2 points, doesn't feel so bad, does it, Marvin? Welcome back this week.
Thank you for having me. Love being on Locked On. Listen, USC fans don't want to hear it, but the truth is this: we didn't show up to play against Illinois. We didn't. That's more on us than it is them, and I'm not discrediting their win. They beat us. Okay, it's all good. But again, we're going off of the blowout loss they had the week before that. That's really why it hurts so bad. And what we're realizing now as we watch college football, we're seeing teams go down, is there's a ton of parity. Very few teams, if any, are going to go undefeated. And I bet you no one goes undefeated, maybe Ohio State. But you're realizing that Illinois is actually a little bit better than we thought. They're not that bad. They're not that bad of a team. And to be honest with you, let's say it. They're a good team who had a horrible loss. That's really what they are, okay? Are they good enough to beat us? Evidently, that shouldn't have happened, but it happened, But I think as we look back on it, as we move forward, assuming that this goes the way it should, we're going to look back and having a loss, that would be considered a good loss if the season plays out like I think it will for Illinois. Because, again, it's a team who won 10 games last year, and it's realistically a team who could probably win 8-9 games this year, maybe even more. We'll see. I don't know. But they have one loss, and they're a good team, and that was a good loss for us. I hate to say that.
Yes, and again, we're looking forward. We're looking forward to playing Michigan. But I just wanted to address this point because everybody was down on USC. I mean, after the loss, I was feeling pretty upset about the way things unfolded.
Fire Lincoln, fire Danton, the whole situation.
I wasn't on that train.
Not you, but the fan base. That's all. That's what you heard. Go ahead. Absolutely.
But I just wanted to put everything into perspective because for as bad as it looked, and it wasn't a good look the way USC lost, because they looked like they were getting pushed around. We were able to watch what everyone considered, Penn State was supposed to be the team to not only just make the playoffs this year, but finally win it. Well, guess what? They have 2 losses right now. USC has 1. And that's all anybody should have to, keep in mind. And you brought it, we watched football over the weekend. Florida State, guess what? They're not very good. They beat Alabama, but they've now lost 2 in a row. They lost at Virginia, and they just lost at home to Miami. Now, Miami's a good team, but Florida State is no longer ranked. Texas, they were the second ranked team in the preseason. They lost again. They are now unranked. We'll see where USC is still unranked. Unfortunately, I looked at the AP poll. I looked at the coaches poll. Both of these things are really starting to get a little fishy because when you're leaving teams in there with 2 losses, just because you can't, eat some crow, say, you know what, I was wrong. I misdiagnosed. I misread this team at the beginning of the year. That's on you. Everybody else has seen enough to say, you know what, maybe USC, even though they did lose on the road to Illinois, maybe they're still one of the top 25 teams when you compare their resume to everybody else's. Did they play a bunch of good teams out of conference? No. Missouri State, Georgia Southern, they don't fit that resume. But they did beat, 2 big conference opponents. You won on the road at Purdue, and they kind of gave Illinois a little bit of a battle this past weekend. And then you came home and you beat Michigan State at home like you should have as well. So now, on the road, you lose to Illinois by 2 points. Heartbreaker. You probably could have and should have won that game. You take everything into consideration. And then you watch what happened to Penn State. They lost at home. 110,000 people watching. A whiteout. Gut punch type of loss. Again, you don't want to lose that game, but it's an acceptable loss. You think, all right, get on the airplane, bounce back, go take out your anger against UCLA. But that didn't happen. They weren't able to deal with that loss, and they suffered what might be maybe the worst loss since USC lost to Stanford back in 2007. We all remember that 41-point underdog stepping up and beating USC by 1 point, which, by the way, almost happened 18 years ago to the day. Today is October 5th, where we're recording this show. That happened October 7th. So strange things tend to happen. Look, USC should now have all the confidence in the world to say, hey, you know what? That loss, it wasn't that bad. We got Michigan coming in. We saw what Michigan has done so far. They had that one tough loss on the road to Oklahoma, and they just beat Wisconsin at home in your typical old-fashioned Big Ten 4 yards in a cloud of dust defensive type of struggle. But it really wasn't a defense. It wasn't 4 yards in a cloud of dust. We saw a little bit from Michigan's quarterback. We're going to talk about that, in the next couple of segments. In fact, in the next segment, what did Michigan show you, Marvin? This is your leading question for the next segment. What did Michigan show you on defense that's going to be able to stop USC's offense? I want you to think about that as we go into the next segment. But USC fans, look, we have to get over it. You have enough evidence now to say, hey, no, like Marvin said, no one's going undefeated this year. Maybe one team, but the likelihood of that happen, probably not. This is the new dynamic of college football. Because of the transfer portal and strange things happening, NIL getting you a player that, you know what, let's give Nico Iamaleava some credit. He didn't have a great passing game, but he used his legs and he carved up Penn State's defense. And USC's going up against a similar type of quarterback. And that's why I want to get Marvin's interpretation of what he saw from Bryce Underwood when they hosted Wisconsin. That's coming up next. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. It's their most advanced equipment, yet designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to move. It doesn't matter whether you're running, whether you're lifting, whether you're cross-training with your favorite instructors. This is training reimagined because Peloton it's built for breakthroughs with tools that are going to help you plan, help you stay motivated, and it's going to help you reach peak performance. The swivel screen on the machine is a game changer. You literally go from running on the Tread Plus to strength training, and you're not going to miss a beat. And the personalized class recommendations keep you engaged. So depending on how you're feeling, you get your workouts tailored to your vibe and your energy level each single week. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus today at onepeloton.com. That's ONE Peloton.com. All right, Marvin, I've been doing a lot of talking here. So what did Michigan show us defensively? Are they built to stop USC's offense?
Well, let me tell you like this. USC, every single game we've played this year, the team we play next has been better than the last. And this is no different. This will be the best team that we play all year without question. And on defense, what I saw was a stout defense. I saw a physical defense, extremely physical and aggressive defense. And in this last game, I didn't see a ton of blitzing. The defensive line was able to get pressure and collapse pocket without a ton of blitzing. Linebackers look good. Flo, Fields, number 30 from Michigan is a stud. In defensive backs, I think they have safeties, and I think they played well on the back end overall. They have a sound defense. They play great defense. Wink Martindale is running that Rex Ryan defense, I mean, as good as it can get, and he's been doing that for the last couple of years. This is a team that, they've had their coordinator for years. They've had their coacher established. This is a team where they've had players in that program for years. So the defense is showing that. You're seeing mature players, you're seeing physical players, and granted, we have, in my opinion, an elite offense. I do believe that it will get tested. It will get tested, especially with us being down some offensive linemen. And I'm hoping and I'm believing that Jacoby's going to be playing in this game. But we're going to need everything that we have to show up, and I think we'll be successful on offense. But defensively, Michigan will be tough on us. We're not looking for anything like we saw in those first two games. We're not looking at 60 and 70 points, people. This isn't it. This, for us, I hope it continues to be 3 yards in a cloud of dust, even though that does play into what Michigan wants you to do. They want you to run the ball, and that's where they pride themselves. So for USC, this will be a huge challenge on offense for Lincoln. Michigan, these guys play depth. They have depth on their team. I mean, I watched them play throughout this season. Obviously, I watched the game this past weekend, and I watched some other parts, some other things as well. And the reality is, this is what they're hanging their hat on, is the defense, and that's with an offense that has some players, and we'll get into that later on, I guess. But this is the best defense we played. And when you look at some of the mistakes that we've been making in the penalties, we can't have it. We cannot have it against this defense at all. And I think for us, this right now is going to be the biggest game of the year for us, without question. It is. And for us, it starts on what we can do on offense.
I agree. Now, I did see a little bit of a chink in their armor, and here maybe I'm grasping at straws. Nevertheless, Wisconsin was playing their third-string quarterback in this game. Mm-hmm. Who, by the way, he had a decent game, 18 for 29, 177 yards. He did throw a pick without throwing a touchdown. But if Wisconsin's third-string quarterback can do that, and we know that they don't have the weapons outside that Jade Maya has, maybe there's some hope for USC's offense. Look, Wisconsin hangs their hat on running the ball. Mm-hmm. Michigan's defense hangs their hat on stopping the run. They're able to hold Wisconsin to, I think, 75 net yards rushing, 28 rushing attempts. I don't know. Look, if they want to try and stop USC's running game, are they going to be able to do that and at the same time contain Mekhi Lemon, a healthy Jacoby Lane, USC's tight ends, as well as Jaden Mayawa's legs, which, again, if Penn State can force UCLA into, hey, your offense is going to be a quarterback running the ball for big chunks of yards. If Michigan tries to take that same type of approach, what can USC do offensively?
Listen, at the end of the day, it's really going to come down to USC establishing their run. Period. That's really what it comes down to. This isn't schematic. This isn't about lectures and talks. This is about Lincoln Riley and his staff having these guys ready mentally and physically, and coming out there and playing a very simple game plan in regards to the run. It needs to be a power run game. It needs to be what it's been, with those tight ends lining up in the backfield, offset, pulling with the guard. I mean, that's what we need to be doing. And we need to stay with that.
I think one of Michigan's weaknesses on defense, and I could be wrong, I don't think they're really strong at cornerback. I like their safety. I can't remember his name, but number 19, he kind of floats back there. He kind of floats back there as a rover. And that's the one player I think Jaden Mayaba has to stay cognizant of, I should say. And you brought up the offensive line versus Michigan's defensive line. This John Ray Reed, we know he's going to be starting at center.
Right.
I have a pretty good idea your offensive line is going to be Justin Toanuu at left tackle, unless Elijah Page makes a miraculous recovery. You're going to have Micah Panuelos at left guard, General Reed at center, Alani Noah at right guard, and then you have Tobias Raymond at right tackle. They have to be able to keep Jaden Mayaba's jersey clean. Michigan had some success getting into the backfield and creating pressure. But again, if Jaden, just stays in neutral, makes smart decisions, and if the run is there, take the run. He doesn't have to force the throw.
Right.
But if Michigan decides, hey, you know what? We're going to flood the zone. We're just going to rush 4, drop 8. Then, is USC prepared to, play that type of defense? In other words, run the ball.
Yeah, I mean, they had to be prepared, because that's exactly what Michigan did against Wisconsin. That was their defense. They didn't blitz a lot. I mean, they won that game and played great defense, and they won it with a 4-man rush for the most part. They really did. So that's what we're practicing against in practice, without question. That's what Lincoln has Jenny looking at in practice. We have to win with our receivers, and it has to be more than just Mekhi. So I'm happy that Jacoby's coming back, but we're going to have to really make them defend the whole field. We're going to have to make them respect the back end up top and take advantage of that in the run game. That's how it has to go. This has to be our best game on offense, because we're playing against the best team we've played so far, and by far the best defense, who's good at 3 levels: D-line, linebacker, and in the secondary with the safeties. So yeah, I mean, with Jaden, he's going to have to play the same cerebral game, same emotional intelligence, same confidence on the run plays. Be strong, punch it in, get that first down. But we're going to have to play efficient offense, power offense, and mistake-free football, because we're playing a team who doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Michigan doesn't have a lot of penalties. They're very disciplined in that. I think they have four penalties in 2 games, whereas USC is double digits.
They get that in 1/2.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, I'm rambling. Okay.
No, you're right. Michigan plays disciplined football. They don't hurt themselves. And I was agreeing with you. USC will have 4 penalties in 1/2, where Michigan will get 4 penalties, 2-game total. So
you can do that against Georgia Southern. You can't do that against a Michigan team who's getting better and better every week.
Now, you saw Michigan's defensive line. How does USC's offensive line match up with those guys? Do they have the horses to get it done?
So I would tell you that healthy, absolutely. According to Lincoln, we have some depth, and we've seen our guys come in there, a couple guys come in there and play well. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I mean, this is going to be a test. This is different from Michigan State. This is different from Purdue, a different caliber athlete on Michigan's side. Michigan's roster, to me, in regards to their talent level, is like ours. You know what I mean? But they are better coached on defense, in my opinion. I believe that. I hate to say that. At least that's what the tape says. That's what the tape says. Okay, that's what we see on film.
The numbers say too. The stats.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I'm not down on that. I'm with our defensive staff. I'm not losing myself over one game, over a bad game. But Wink Martindale and Michigan's defense is coming to the Coliseum to play physical football. They're going to try to attack the quarterback. They are well aware of who Waymon is and Eli. And trust me, they realize that these guys are the two that really get this offense going, because we work off a lot of play action. So and boot. So they're going to come, and they've showed up for the most part all year. They have lost. People have made plays against them, but they're a consistent group for the most part. Unlike us.
There's nothing to question there. I think Michigan defensively, they're going to be disciplined. They're going to they're going to play their assignments. They're not going to beat themselves. Now, USC can help them beat themselves because they've got a bunch of dudes on offense that can make even good defenses look bad.
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about USC's defense in this next segment, because what I saw from Michigan was, all right, they got a nice young quarterback, really talented.
Mm-hmm.
However, ... That's coming up next.
Okay.
This episode is brought to you by Square, your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. There are certain businesses that truly make the neighborhood feel like home, whether it's the local bar that's packed on game days. You like that coffee shop around the corner that knows your order by heart. Maybe you like that corner deli that's been serving your community for decades. These are the places that bring people together. When neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives. So what does supporting a community look like? Well, spending money there doesn't just support the business, it supports the people behind it and the community around it. Here are just a few places that on Square that surround USC and their community. Check it out. Do you like bagels? I mean, I do. I need a bagel every morning with my cup of coffee. Check out Courage Bagels. And I don't know anybody who doesn't like tacos. So if you're in the mood for a taco, check out Tacos LA 26. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/go/LockedOnCollege to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy you did. Square, see you in the neighborhood. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers, you can bet just $5, and if that bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets that you can use across the entire FanDuel app. Hello? You're going to love using FanDuel because it fits however you like to bet. You like doing the player prop bets? Check that box off at FanDuel. You like building a same-game parlay? Check out FanDuel.com. Or maybe you just like jumping in live as the action unfolds. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. All right, Marvin. I watched Wolverines quarterback Bryce Underwood. For the first time, I really just, I focused in on him, watched him. I said, what kind of problems, what kind of challenges is it going to present to USC's defense? He completed 19 of 28 passes. Mm-hmm. He had a season-high 270 yards versus Wisconsin, including a touchdown. Now, those numbers, 19 for 28, that's not bad. No. They would be even better if some of his passes weren't dropped. But here's where I am with him. He's really talented. I mean, he looks the part. I think he's still learning how to play quarterback, though.
Of course.
He can move. He can throw. He has no touch on this ball. Everything is a fastball out of his arsenal. Mm-hmm. Does he have enough? Does he have enough weapons that they can come out to USC and say, you know what, we're going to walk out of here with a 1 or 2 point victory? What did you see?
Yeah, so they have a stud running back who in the first 5 games has ran for 100 yards a game. Against every team they've played, he's ran for 100 yards. Like his name slips him right now. They have Hayes. They have a freshman receiver who showed out last game, a freshman kid who looks dynamic. And of all the threats they have, the number one threat is that quarterback, as you said, the 5-star Bryce Underwood out of Texas. It's really remarkable how he's able to go in there and run the offense efficiently, score points, win games for them. He looks better every game. He looks more confident every game. I've watched them from the beginning of the season a little bit because I was very intrigued by him as a big-time recruit. And you're seeing him open it up a little bit. They're letting him throw the ball more, 28 attempts. This kid will only get better, and he's dynamic. He's fast. He's strong. He's big. He's the quarterback from Michigan State was pretty dynamic. Aiden Childs, I think his name.
Aiden Childs, yes.
This guy's better than him right now, I think. And Aiden's is a first-round draft pick this year, they say. So with Bryce, I saw a report. I saw one of the reports where they have him as a first-round pick. All right, but anyway. Bryce is only getting better. And, USC has struggled with mobile quarterbacks. This kid runs with authority. He's yet to really have one of those games where he just goes crazy. It's coming. It's coming. He's way too talented. And, when you look at their offense, which is, it's typical spread. So, a lot of, so you got some play action, you got boot, and you have opportunities to get him out there on the perimeter and just, it's going to be tough. He's going to be dangerous, man. He's going to be dangerous, and we're going to have to contain him. It is imperative that in this game our bigs, our defensive tackles push him back. We have to push the pocket back on him. We have to get him, off of his spot. We can't let him just stand there and throw the ball. And when he wants to sprint and they sprint out, we have to chase him. And we have to really get him going and not let him be comfortable. So, yeah, he is their biggest threat, I think, just because of what he can do. But that whole offense revolves around that running back who's averaging 100 yards a game, regardless of who they play.
Yeah, Justin Haynes, he's that transfer from Alabama. He's pretty good. He can run between the tackles. He is willing to put a shoulder pad on you, a helmet on you, but he can also slip outside. And doesn't have breakaway speed, but he's got enough running back speed that he's going to pick up chunk yards. Here's where I think USC's defense can get well. You mentioned Michigan's wide receiver, freshman. His name is Andrew Marsh. Right. Who, by the way, I think it came down between USC and Michigan when he was being recruited out of Texas. He chose Michigan. He is a freshman, but Michigan doesn't have a lot of, talent at the wide receiver spot that scares you. Yeah. Maybe USC's cornerbacks can get well in this type of game. Now, Michigan does have a tight end also that they like to use. So, again, can USC just play sound defense and force a freshman quarterback on the road to make mistakes? And, again, when he's under pressure, he throws the ball 100 miles an hour on every single throw.
Yeah, when you look at our defense, obviously we understand that our secondary is where we've been struggling throughout the year. But in this offense they have, our whole focus needs to be to contain the running back and the quarterback. That's it. If they're going to beat us, they have to beat us throwing the ball. They have to. Danny's going to have to put together a defense where we're loaded in the box, we're bringing it, mixing in blitzes, and again, just getting that quarterback moving and getting him thinking and forcing him to make decisions on the move. At this point, there are parts of our offense and defense that we haven't opened up yet. The coaches keep some stuff, for certain opponents or certain matchups. I'm expecting to see some of that stuff play out on defense. I'm expecting to see stunts, blitzes, packages that we haven't shown anybody yet, or we haven't run so much that they're keen on that. Yes. But we have to see something. We have to contain the quarterback and the running back. That's this game. Make them beat us on the outside. They drop balls. They drop balls left and right in Michigan. Yes, they have over 10 drops already this year. And at this point for us, if we can contain them in the middle in the box, that's our win. That's it. If that running back gets loose, if he gets 100 yards, it better be on 30 plus carries. He can't get 100 yards on 20 carries. No, sir, that's key. You're right. He can't have 100 yards on 20 carries. He has to have 100 yards on 30 carries. It needs to be that. And I doubt he gets that many, but we'll see. But we have to control the run game from the quarterback and the running back. And if we can do that, we can give up some plays on the outside, because I don't see the quarterback beating us from the pocket at this point in his career. I don't see him coming out there throwing the ball the way he would need to throw it to beat us if we shut down their run game. So, no,
you're right. Absolutely. Like I said, he's a true freshman. He's talented, but they often panic and get confused, especially when they're in hostile type of environments. Yeah. Get him off his spot. Do some stuff that he's never seen before. Run some exotic blitzes. Make him have to make a decision quickly.
Yeah.
Again, not at home. When you're on the road, when the crowd is breathing down your neck, when you've got USC's defensive line chasing you, breathing down your neck, make him uncomfortable. Because when you're uncomfortable, you tend to make mistakes. I know I do.
Yeah,
and that's the goal.
Yeah, and for this freshman coming to California, maybe for the first time, he's never seen palm trees. He doesn't know life with no humidity. He's never been to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. He's never, these things, intrigue young people. Trust me when I say he's definitely curious and interested about coming to LA. And you may think, that's small. That's not real. It's very real. He's a young kid from Texas who lives in Michigan. Coming to LA for a day and a half, they're going to change his whole world, especially if we attack him and beat his butt.
Yeah, no, this is like we've been talking about it. This is a game where USC can kind of make everything right.
Yeah.
We watched what happened over the weekend. We know that anybody can beat anybody on any given Saturday. USC is, from what I understand, they're coming into this game as a 2.5-point underdog at home.
Yeah.
That's right there.
Going into the season, everyone said that Illinois was going to be the game where we can really find out who we are and where we're at. Okay, not just you, Mark. I heard it from pundits everywhere. Okay,
everybody.
Yeah, the reality is this: it wasn't Illinois. That is what it is. That's gone. It's going to be Michigan. Michigan is the game where we're going to be able to see what we really have, because USC fans are waiting to see, is it real? What I saw in those first 2 games, those first 4 games, is that offense? Is that really what it is? Is the defense as good as I saw in those first few games? We don't know that yet because of the quality of the opponent and because of what happened in Illinois. This game, where Lincoln Riley has 2 weeks to prepare, coming off a horrible loss, this is going to tell you exactly where we're at in our program. This is the biggest game of our season.
Yep. In fact, these next 3 games line up perfectly because, as you said, this is the biggest game of the season. 100%. This will determine if USC is going to be a 9-win, 10-win team, or if they're going to slide into 8 wins, 7 wins, because right after this game, you need a win and you need that momentum, because guess where USC's going? South Bend, Indiana. They're taking on Notre Dame. And then after that, they're coming back. Before they'll get another week off, and then they fly out to play Nebraska. These next 3 games will determine USC season, and maybe, well, not maybe. These next 3 games, we won't get that far down the line. These next 3 games will determine USC season. Go 2-1 over these next 3. You're on schedule to get where you need to go.
Right. And I don't want to put any negativity in the universe, but if the game doesn't go the way we want to, what matters is how we look. How do we respond to the challenge? How do we respond on, so how we look is everything. Everything. We already have we have a loss, which may end up looking like a good loss, even though I hate saying that. So what happens in Michigan, if it's not fatal, but how we look matters. So Lincoln Riley, you got 2 weeks, man. The game's coming up in a week. Show me something, baby.
Yep. Look, we're going to be talking about USC versus Michigan all week long here on Locked On USC. Marvin will be back later in the week. We'll break things down even more. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. We kind of just took the wreath off the spear. We're getting ready to go to war. USC suffered a tough loss at Michigan last year when they joined the big conference. It's time for payback. This is a helmet game. This is blue blood versus blue blood. This is the Cardinal and gold, the Trojan helmet versus that maize and blue striped helmet. These were the Rose Bowl games we were brought up on. This is going to be a huge game. It's sold out in the LA Coliseum. I think Coach Riley will have his team's attention, and I hope Michigan has the attention of the Coliseum fans, because they show up, they're loud, they're proud, they didn't sell out. Their tickets, they didn't look like Ram fans dressed up as 49er fans. Like you said, Marvin, this is a huge game. It's got to have that same type of energy, that same type of vibe, and we'll be talking about it all week. So until that next episode of Locked On USC, everyone, you know what to do.
Right on.